Ladies and gentlemen, we've got quite a video today, and it's about some upcoming games that might be some competitors to Wuthering Waves in the future. And I thought that this would be a really appropriate video for us to take a look at, just to get a scope of the competition, and of course, factor in some announcements that have been made for titles like, of course, Duet Night Abyss, where, you know, they're making everything free and stuff like that. So obviously, this video is not going to have, like, fine details like that, because I don't think this guy's a fortune teller, the gacha DG too. But why don't we just go ahead, take a look at this, and see what the discussion's about.
You are probably sitting there waiting for a new gacha game, and I have good news for you. Nodcry is just around the corner. Did you really think?
Honestly, that's really good for the first 10 seconds. That's an amazing first 5 seconds of the video. I already got shit to say, and we're only 6 seconds in.
I think I was about to start talking about Genshin Impact.
Bruh.
Anyways, we've recently gotten gameplay reveals from Azure Promilia and a trailer from Duet Night Abyss, and I think there's a lot to look forward to. I'm still gonna cope with Endfield too. I still feel like it could be pretty good. Wuthering Waves really hasn't been challenged lately to their throne, so as a fan of WuWa, you should want these two new titles to be spectacular. Azure Promilia looks like something that could grab a greater portion of this Genshin audience than Wuthering Waves did.
I think that one of the big problems with Azure Promilia, and I've said it a bunch of times, and I don't think that I'll be listened to, because I'm just gonna be honest, I think it is tailored towards a certain type of audience. If it had male characters, I think it would be just a more popular game. I'm just gonna be honest. If you replace like half of like I don't even know what to call them. I don't know if they're necessarily like actual kids. Maybe they're like some like alien race that's like fucking literally 3 feet tall at like adult age. But like there's so many of those units that you're just like, I'd probably play the game more, or I'd probably play the game if they weren't in it. And I mean, it's just, it always throws me off when you have like this universe of playable characters and then none of them actually happen to be of a certain gender. And it's just like, okay, well, like, are there only actually females in this world? And then there are like male NPCs and stuff like that. It's just, thematically, it doesn't make that much sense, especially in like a fantasy game like this where people are like swinging swords and stuff. But I mean, hey, it's, I don't think much is really going to change other than the MC being the only playable male.
As the overall aesthetic heavily resembles Genshin Impact. Oh, never mind, the whole flight thing might be a turnoff. They should add a stamina bar and we'd be in business. Aside from the fact that this isn't optimized very well yet.
You're open!
Okay. The flying does look a little bit jank. I'll agree with you there.
I'm glad we're catching up with the times and making flight of
like this little trail over here being the only indication that like this thing is in flight. It like, brother, the wings are this big and there's like this as well. Like this is the only thing that is signaling active flight.
Bare minimum for open world exploration.
Like I can't even tell, like they're gone right now.
Or at least some form of fast movement across these environments. I hope to see an open world where there's live events happening, or at least keep the space filled so we're not just flying past gorgeous looking grass in 4K.
I think that's a bit of an issue in Septimont. I'm just going to be honest, guys. There's way too much stuff in Septimont where there's literally nothing there. Go to the bottom right corner of like the 2.4 map, and you're just like, okay. I have to actually fly for like 30 seconds to find another set of mobs, or to find anything that's even interactable. It looks cool, but it's also like, I'm literally just spending time doing a whole lot of nothing.
Azure Promilia can really get a one-up on WuWa, but specifically Genshin, as I see that being its main competition.
Yeah.
What about the combat? This is a place where this game can capture a more casual audience that does not like convoluted combat mechanics. Not me though, y'all know how good I am at gacha. Now I have heard about the recent combat fatigue going on, where people have pointed out the fact that this is the same 3 to 4 man team rotation system where you most likely spam skill and ultimates. It even has the sort of echo skill, I guess you could say, although it looks a bit clunkier. So I think that the Phantom Echoes from Wuthering Waves have the one up here. Something like Arsenosa or Capitanius because they don't interrupt the flow of combat. While Lugia on Ozempic here looks sick, I think grabbing the camera and shifting it over to catch this aura farm angle isn't going to be a smooth enough transition when you're actually playing in the game.
If it stops time, there's not much of an issue with it. That's my take. If it freezes any timers that are currently active in challenges, and it literally does feel like a super move that you're pressing, it pauses time, deals damage, and then switches back to your character, that's not going to feel clunky at all. Just because it's like, hey, you just did damage for free. And this is the thing, right? That's actually where, like, a timer can, like, feel good, right? Because if the timer is like your active restriction, and then you get to like have these attacks or have these moves that basically deal damage without interacting at all with the timer, if that's how it works, then that just feels like an add to the combat. And if it doesn't stop time, that's where it starts feeling a little bit clunky, and then you have the decision of, do I just not even use this attack because it's actually lowering my team's DPS? And so if you make it freeze time, it's great. If it doesn't, then you have the whole DPS you have the whole DPS situation to talk about, and that's why certain echo skills in WuWa weren't used. I think everyone remembers the Thundering Mephis. Maybe he's going to show that off here.
Think about using the Thundering Mephis back in the day.
It's not pre-watched, I swear. I just naturally assumed that was where the conversation was going to go, and I'm just that high IQ. I'm not even joking.
Where you're just teleporting all over the place. You should be the one in control of your character. The combat besides that looks fine, and it definitely has a nice aesthetic. So I do not think that this will be an issue because one, people will give this game a try regardless, and two, who hasn't played Pokemon?
This is actually like a great comparison video. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, no, this is a very thought-provoking video. Very good.
Here we even have Oshawott, Tepig, and Snivy. This will easily be this game's biggest selling point. Wait, oh shit. Unfortunately, Game Freak might sue this dev company and put their families into generational debt before this product even sees the light of day because they're violently insecure about their shitty track record over the past 10 years. It takes a little bit of talent.
I don't think they're going to do it again. And I feel like gacha games might have more money than Palworld. They might.
To throw away such a beloved title year after year, don't you think? Aside from the obvious similarities to Pokemon, I actually think that Azure Promilia has a lot more similarities to Palworld, where you aren't just forcing your domesticated animals into combat, but you are also allocating resources to manufacture a home base.
I've never actually played this game.
And force your mutant friends to work for no pay. Okay, maybe I could have worded that differently, but we're just gonna go with that. Even if the open world were to be barren, then these sort of farming mechanics that can make you build towards something can keep you occupied outside of just running around because you spent $400 on a character and don't know what to do now. There's even monster collecting to do in the open world.
Hey, don't make fun of my echo pickers like that. Okay? Don't make fun of the echo pickers that are going to Kurofest. All right, buddy boy? They're people too.
Which, depending on how they go about this, if there's, let's say, hundreds of these things, for example, and you got a reward for collecting them all, that would be a really good idea.
If Azure Promilia doesn't have like a collection for the Pokemans, and then you get like your premium currency for collecting like, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 of them, if they don't have that, then they're stupid. I'm 99.9% sure that's going to be in the game.
Pikachu!
A Saurian.
The only concern I have is that it looks like the capturing devices here are a resource, meaning they could do something evil and just monetize these things, especially if the only reliable way to catch these monsters is through these gold cards.
Yeah, this kind of scared me a little bit because I was like, wait, like bro's just throwing these out. Like bro was like throwing these out like singles at the strip club in the gameplay demo. Like he was just like there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 of them, right? He was just throwing out golds. He threw out like 4 golds to catch one monster, and I'm like, wait, what? Like that's a lot. I imagine that's like a lot, right? Because I don't think these come for free. This looks like the best one. He threw like 4 of them for one monster.
This is what holds most gacha games back because they focus too much on the monetary side of things and end up locking certain quality of life features behind a paywall.
Yeah, and this is what I'm telling you. Get this out of my... It's not even my game. This can't be my game as long as this is in it.
Okay, what's going on here?
I feel like that's the reaction of most people when they see like the fact that this is like a playable melee unit in their game. She looks like one of the Pokemon that you would summon to do the special move. Honestly, if they just turned these characters into the Pokemon, I think like that would be fine.
This unit is no taller than 2 feet. Personally, I don't have too big of an issue with childlike characters, but this looks like a literal infant. And you could say most of the character models are mostly on the childlike side of things, so I can see that being a downside for a lot of people. If you are an enjoyer of WuWa's character models, there's a lot more of a darker tone and maturity here. Wait, what the hell? There's another one? Even with a kid unit like Roshia, I'd rather her over whoever this is right here, but that's just up to preference, so I won't look too much into it. I would like to see more male.
I mean, I'm just gonna be real here. If somebody were to say that they preferred this, then that's inherently questionable, right? That's inherent, like, it's inherently questionable. Is it not? Like, you wouldn't even tell this to, like, you wouldn't even tell this to somebody in the fucking confession booth. Like, I'm gonna be real. Like, I feel like you couldn't waterboard information like this out of people.
Male characters though, but this is something that all gacha games can work on. And yes, I understand that they don't sell very well, but they're still great for a variety. Oh, I was itching to make another Gion edit, but I won't do that. Don't worry. All in all,
Stop. Don't do them. I don't know why you decided to keep on doing them. What's the point of you doing them? This doesn't even add to your video in any way. Just stop doing them. Keep doing them.
Azure Promilia has a lot of potential, but there is a title that has more potential to grab some of this Wuthering Waves audience in Duet Night Abyss. Just like the name states, you actually play through this game through the eyes of 2 different protagonists, which is already something fairly unique. But the main thing that I would like to highlight about this upcoming title is the fact that there is a guarantee.
Well, this video aged poorly. I actually really like the Azure Promilia part that he covered with, so, I mean, I'll provide just some additional context over here. Duet Night Abyss, actually, ladies and gentlemen, no longer has any gacha system at all. There's no limited characters. There's no standard characters. It's just characters. And you'll grind for these units through shards that don't cost any stamina or energy. So theoretically, you are supposed to be able to just, with your playtime, grind every single unit in the game. And their main source of monetization is being able to speed up the grind by buying the shards from the store. You can basically buy the units or grind for them, or buying cosmetics. And so I do think that this is definitely one of the more ballsy plays we've ever seen a gacha game do, but that's how they've, I guess, transcended beyond the no 50-50 on character banners. Just something to keep in mind.
On the character banner when pulling for your first limited character. So just like we have seen Wuthering Waves cut out the 50-50 on the weapon banner from a mainstream gacha game, hopefully Duet Night Abyss can live up to the hype.
Well, I guess they might have potentially exceeded it with their implementation, but like I've been saying when I heard the news that there's no gacha system anymore, it's all about the grind. And one thing that I'm kind of scared of for the game is, naturally, I'm just going to present it as a worry because this is such a, this is such a huge move that the company's making. One thing I'm scared about is the grind feeling like it's so clunky or takes so long that, like, it's not worth doing, and you just want to pay for the characters instead because they made the grind feel really bad. And the thing is, guys, a lot of people are comparing it to an MMO, and they're saying, ha, Saint's such a tourist. Clearly, he hasn't played an MMO before. I've played MMOs before, and there's a reason why I don't play them right now. Yeah, guys, because they take a lot of fucking time to play, and that if I'm playing an MMO and I want to keep up with it, I can't play other games. That's the issue. And when there are a lot of really, really, really good games out there that you would want to actually play and share the time of the day with, well, you can't really do that if you want to keep up in another game and it takes up a shit ton of time. A lot of people that will be coming to Duet Night Abyss will be other gacha players, right? People that have previously played it, because Duet Night Abyss was, advertised as a gacha game at first. And, well, if they want the time to be able to play their other gacha games as well, because, they all take about an hour a day, to do all your dailies, less, depending on where you are in the end game. Well, now it's like, okay, you're gonna have gacha players who are dealing with, like, sunk cost of the thousands of dollars that they've already spent in the games they're currently playing. And now you have Duet Night Abyss coming in, potentially also asking for a good share of that time. Which one are you going to drop first? The game that you spent thousands of dollars on, or the game that you spent $0 on? And this is a contest for your time, right? If you still enjoy the gacha game that you're playing, that you spent a lot of money on and a lot of time on already, and then this one's asking for a lot more of your time, it's like, guys, time is one of your most valuable resources as a player, because time you spend on one game is time that you're literally not spending on another game. And so I am really concerned about the pacing, because there's like a phenomenon going on over here with Duet Night Abyss that I feel like needs to be talked about. And it's a matter of, like, if the players don't feel the incentive to spend because the grind is too easy, then the company's not really going to get money from shards, and then skins are going to be the only way to really generate revenue. Or there's a lot of incentive to buy the shards, and the grind is kind of like a pain in the ass. And so maybe there's going to be a middle ground between the two. But I do genuinely feel like this could be like, it could be like a bit of an issue for people to adopt that system. So yeah, that's kind of like my disclaimer on the entire thing.
And be something of the same quality while offering a guaranteed limited 5-star. The only thing we would be missing out on at that point is the rage clips.
Well, we're not getting these anymore. We're definitely, it's gonna have none of these.
But I'll take that trade to lose the headache of saving for 2 patches in a row and losing the Ling Yang. Get away from me, please. Get away from me.
Hey, you won't have to worry about that either. So, no standard characters. All characters supposed to be the same rarity, and so they all should have like similar levels of viability, which is a nice thing, right? And I'm pretty sure with having no gacha system at all, the devs are actually free to run balance updates too on the units, right? They release somebody that's clearly a little bit too strong. They can tone them down, buff other units, buff weapons, nerf weapons, stuff like that. And kind of like adjust the gameplay mechanics of like the entire system without running into like the whole, oh, I spent thousands of dollars on this unit because, well, you could grind them all for free and you just decide to pay for a shortcut, right? I don't think that there's much of a leg to really stand on over here to like complain about balance updates from that angle.
Even likes these little toothpicks he stands on. Like, even aside from the gacha system, this game looks incredible. So as long as the story is decent and the resource gain is as good as I think it will be, then Duet Night Abyss is already off to a great start in my eyes just from that, because those are 2 of the most important things I look for in a gacha.
One thing that makes sense with the new monetization is that this unit was actually a 4-star. She was a 4-star unit in the closed beta test, but she's basically being advertised now as like a premium 5-star. But everyone is supposed to be a premium 5-star now.
Abyss is already off to a great start in my eyes just from that, because those are 2 of the most important things I look for in a gacha. Now with the new reveals, I will admit that I think both of these titles are looking better than Arknights Endfield at the moment. I won't cope anymore.
I feel like we still gotta wait for more gameplay of Arknights. I don't know what it is, but like I feel like the game's been like under development because like the Arknights devs, I feel like have to worry about the awful community that they've cultivated from the regular Arknights. And it's just the number of like elitists and probably like the conflicting opinions that they're getting from people that are like low-key actively sabotaging the game with their feedback is absurd. It's just the amount of discourse that I've seen of people that just want to make this game a piece of shit is insane. They're like, I want to make it as clunky as possible. I want the systems to be super annoying because I want to be the only one that bothers to learn how to do all this annoying shit. And because I'm taking the time to do it, it's more enjoyable to me, even though it's a dog shit fucking system. The amount of like invested pride that these guys have in dealing with shit that nobody else wants to fucking deal with is crazy. And it's such a loud voice in this community that like everyone thinks this game's gonna EOS because of that. Because you just have all of these super stubborn elitists dooming any update the devs make to the game because they're not making it feel like shit.
But I will say that I think I will enjoy the free roam aspect of Enfield's combat system. Depending on how it feels, I'm hoping that it can feel different from these other gacha combat systems because I will get bored fast if it feels very similar to another game. And yes, there's also a guaranteed character banner here, so I am hoping that other titles like Ananta and Silver Palace follow.
I'll keep saying this. The Arknights banner system is not good, guys. There are so many ways to just simply make it like one of the best, but it literally has a system built in where you can have 119 pulls of pity evaporate if you don't use it properly. Any system where you can have 119 pulls evaporate and turn into literally zero value is flawed to me. I don't care if there's a guarantee at 120. The fact that you can go 119, not go to 120, and then your 119 pity disappears into the abyss is a fucking problem. This is one of the things that I've been telling people, is that the elitists in the community are saying it's no issue at all. There's going to be so many people that try out the game, find out that the 110 pulls that they put in disappeared, that they saved months for. Their 110 pulls just disappeared into the abyss. They're going to quit the fucking game after that, brother. They're not going to keep playing it. And it's like, a lot of people don't fundamentally understand that that's a situation that is pretty likely to occur.
This same trend. The best way to look better than another gacha game is to be more generous. For some, that could have been the only reason they even stopped playing Genshin Impact for Wuthering Waves. Getting a 50 pull stipend per patch and then getting robbed on the character banner with 90 pulls for a hard pity and a 50-50 should not be a thing anymore in 2025. But DG, there's actually capturing radiance now. Just stop. Just stop. Anyways, if the story in Enfield is good, that's also a plus because we all know that gacha.
I'll give Genshin props about one thing when it comes to their banner system. You can't lose any pulls. You can only lose pulls on Genshin's weapon banner. And you guys all remember how dog shit Genshin's weapon banner is, right? With the fate system? Yeah, Arknights Endfield basically has the weapon banner system from Genshin, where if you don't reach the second pity in the time frame of the banner, your pulls disappear. Your pity count disappears. That is the Arknights Endfield system. And they just made it so that the second pity is only 40, but you can still lose every invested pull that you made. How is there so much glaze for it? There's literally a player trap built in to rob you of hundreds of dollars.
The stories have a ton of room to improve, and I am going to trust them to realize that a skip button is mandatory. Or you know what? If you want to capture a certain
Duet Night Abyss has a skip button.
Audience, you can go ahead and just pass on that skip button and make it a part of your advertising campaign. Azure Promilia, Duet Night Abyss, Arknights Endfield, and more have a lot of potential to give you a better product than what you have right now.
I'm pretty sure all of the games he mentioned will also have a skip button. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be the industry standard. And let's just be honest here. I think not having a skip button in your game is something that actually carries a lot of stigma now. Especially after the absolute bullshit that Honkai Star Rail pulled with its fucking 3.0 update. Honestly, starting since 2.7, I think Honkai Star Rail ruined lack of skip buttons in games. Because now people are just going to assume your story's dog shit if there's no skip button. Because you're forcing people to watch it because it's that bad. I'm glad that is the narrative now. If you have no skip button, your game's story must be trash.
Or even be something that you were waiting for because nothing interests you currently. The main thing is trying to be unique within these combat systems as much as possible and having something to do with these beautiful open worlds or something to work for outside of just endgame content. Although if any of these games want to make better endgame content than what the space has to offer currently, that would be a huge plus because let's face it, endgame is very important no matter what you think about it, even if you are a casual player, because the most invested players within any of these games are going to play endgame to test the limits of their characters. I dare one of these titles to drop something like Imaginarium Theater and see if that goes over well.
I'm really just impressed with how Genshin Impact has managed to actively make their endgame worse with every update they put in. Imaginarium Theater is a net loss to the game that makes people actively want to uninstall as they're prepping for it, as they try to gear 30 units on their roster. I'd rather honestly go do literally anything else with my time than prep for a run like that. And then Stygian Onslaught is just like literally C6 the latest units, or you can't play it.
All right, it's time for your gacha jargon word of the day. Today's word is disingenuous. Not candid or sincere, typically by pretending that one knows less about something than one really does. I see this word being spammed like Maharaga, so if you didn't know what it meant, Professor DG was glad to educate you.
I'm sorry, if you didn't know what that word meant coming into this video, try graduating middle school. Awesome video by the Gacha DG2. I'm actually surprised that this one doesn't really have more views. Maybe he like fucked up on the thumbnail or something, or the title. Because honestly, bro was spitting during this entire vid, and I think he had some pretty thought-provoking discussions, especially for those that are, you know, fans of Wuthering Waves, or really just fans of the gacha genre as a whole, and are thinking about the ways that it's going to be expanding in the future. Because I do think that we're kind of in a very transformative phase right now. I think it is kind of just obvious that time is running out for some of the big games that are currently present, because I think that there's a lot of competition that's incoming, and quality and gameplay experience is something that's going to differentiate a lot in the space. And yeah, the companies and the games that have been resting on their laurels, think dog shit like this, well, I don't think that they're going to have very good of a time across the rest of 2025 heading into 2026. But that's just my take. I also think this character looks like trash. That'll be that, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you all thought about this one. I think it was a banger. Peace.